What is up, everyone? Welcome to KitsuneKon 2024. And this is the first time we've said this since we started doing the interviews here, but we have a returning guest, Edward Bosco. So, how's the last 2 years been? Obviously, we didn't scare you away.
It's true. They brought me back, and I
Yeah.
haven't burst into flames being a Bears fan in Green Bay, so we're doing pretty good.
I should probably go.
You should go.
Yeah, Lions fan, so this is going to be awkward.
You were good last year.
Yeah, I know, it did work. It did work. Well, it's because we both were bustling, so it's like, you can't hate someone.
I can't hate the Lions too much.
Yeah, it's true.
Why don't we just both mutually agree to hate the Packers?
I'm sold.
Good.
Deal.
All right, we can
We're good.
continue.
All right, sweet.
All right.
But how has the last couple of years been treating you with like all the? I mean, you've like been doing so many times.
I mean,
like,
it's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun. I've got to do a lot of cool stuff the last 2 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 years.
yeah, because I know like obviously for those watching that maybe don't know, you've done work with like Persona, Has Been Hotel, Bakihama, which is what I'm going to selfishly ask you about in a little bit here because I love that anime so much. And you've just been doing like a lot of work lately. So like I know like Has Been Hotel is kind of like kind of came out of nowhere and just kind of like blew up. What was it kind of like to like kind of record work for Has Been Hotel and then see like just like this massive like upswing?
I mean, we knew that it was big when we did the pilot. That fandom for basically everything that Viv does is incredible. It's one of the coolest fandoms I've ever been a part of. So I knew it was going to be big, and when they announced that they were going to be doing a show, there was no doubt in my mind it was going to explode, and it did.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, there's certain ones where you can be like, maybe, like, maybe not, or certain ones that come out and kind of have a stuff. That was like, it came out and just immediately...
Explosion. Yeah. It had a built-in fan base already. Like,
right.
We had spent time building it with Viv, so by the time that it got to a series, once it got the promotion of like a network behind it, it was going to be massive.
Right. So I know, like, when we had talked, like, a couple years ago, like, obviously, because you hadn't been doing voice acting, like a super long time.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it kind of been lately of, like you said, like, being able to kind of, like, work out, like, different voices and all this different stuff you've been able to do?
I just try to get better every year, just be better than the last year, which is just take classes, try to improve on something that maybe you don't think you're as good at, stuff like that. And then getting to work on a bunch of cool stuff is always nice. And the longer you're in the business and the more that people get to know your name, the idea is that the more you'll be able to do, because people will be like, oh yeah, I know Ed, let's bring him in.
Yeah. And then obviously we'll touch base on it, but you do you have like Twitch streams that you're doing pretty
Big
consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you do, I know obviously you do like wrestling stuff and other various stuff.
D&D stuff.
Yeah, you do a lot of D&D stuff. You have like D&D panels, obviously, like you do at conventions. I'm guessing, do you do that like at every convention you go to?
No, honestly, the only convention I've ever done D&D at is KitsuneKon. They're the one that, so I ran it the first time I was here.
Right, yeah.
And when I came back this year, they were like, so would you want to run that again? Because that was kind of cool.
More D&D, please?
Yeah, so we're doing it again tonight.
So if you want to play D&D, then you have to keep coming to KitsuneKon.
Yeah, or tell your local con, like, we want that in our
Yeah,
convention.
which is really cool to be able to like play D. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
D&D is like awesome, but like be able to kind of do that kind of stuff. So with the Twitch streams, do you do like fan interaction stuff? Like, so if people like follow you on Twitch, like when you do like your wrestling stuff, is it like how do you kind of like pace the show that we?
It does. So I stream 6 days a week, so it depends on the stream that I'm doing. If I'm playing, we're lassoing the Halos. We do Tuesday Halo nights.
Right.
That's when I'm interacting with the chat a lot more, because in between us constantly dying, because that's what happens with Lasso. Legendary All Skulls on. It's the hardest way you can play Halo.
It's insane.
But that's when I can kind of talk with the chat a little bit.
Right.
Same thing on Monday when we do Mass Effect Mondays with my friend Monty and Arkov. We're able to interact with the chat plenty because we're going through a casual RPG and there's plenty of downtime. When I'm doing something like wrestling, I'm in character the whole time.
Okay.
So it's not until I finish the stream and say thank you everybody for coming and all that
Right.
stuff that I'm actually able to interact with the fans.
Okay. So
that being said, most of the people that watch the wrestling stream are in the show.
Okay.
Because all of the characters that I use, all of the different wrestlers are made by the community. I put them in there, so it's like a giant wrestling D&D game. Because I'm just writing the stories and letting the 2K engine do all the work for me.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine that's going to be really fun for like. So make sure you go to.
Yeah,
and
we
when
just July 5th was our 5-year anniversary, and we're still going. Twitch.tv/Edward Bosco.
So you make sure you follow it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll swing it back, because obviously, like we said, we both have like a pretty big mutual love for wrestling and things like that.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. And you were able to do some work with like Bakihama and the crossover movie that recently came out. So with someone who, I mean, obviously Bakihama is more of like fighting, but you still, I mean, obviously there's like people that do like wrestling in kind of the background, but like for someone that has like a passion for like just that other fandom, does that make working on projects like that like more special, or like do you enjoy it more, or kind of like when you're able to like kind of work other passions of yours into like the actual role that you're doing?
Oh, 100%. If like working on WWE Slam City was a blast for me, which was the Robot Chicken guys, a show like Baki where it's a little bit more heightened, but it's still kind of like a UFC street fight kind of a feel.
Yes.
Which I like. I like mixed martial arts, so that's always fun to see how they interpret that and what they put in there, picking out the different styles. So yeah, whenever there's like a passion that's already built into the anime or the video game, I'm absolutely a little bit more excited naturally because I'm like, oh, I know what that is.
Right, yeah, you can like, oh, I know what they're doing, and then like, because we're still gonna fight at the wrestling show later, right? We're gonna we're gonna get in the ring and fight it up. And
am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm whooping that ass.
We got this shit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go. I know the people that run it, so I mean, like we'll get in
the ring.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like body slams and spine busters and stuff. And
I'm gonna hit you with a cutter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see if I can jump off the rope and hit you with a cutter, but I'm pretty
sure. Evan Bourne?
I wish.
Yeah. Shooting star press into an
into
RKO.
The RKO. Best RKO of all time. Well, that or the Seth Rollins stomp one.
Yeah, the Seth Rollins stomp one I think is even more impressive.
Yeah, I think
because they tried that spot a little bit earlier in the match and messed it up.
Yeah,
and you notice they go back to it
and they try to get with the height of that. I don't know if you ever watched like the Evan Bourne interview where he talks about that RKO.
It was his idea.
Yeah,
which I was like, oh, all right,
man. Like I didn't know. Like that's. I mean, the timing of those spots is incredible. And then just I'm curious because you've done a couple stuff with Death Battle. Mm-hmm. Had you watched? Because I know like you are into that kind of stuff in general. Like, had you watched Death Battle like before?
I'd seen a couple, but I hadn't. It wasn't like something that I would constantly look out for every time that they would drop one. If I happen to see it pop up in my feed or someone's like, "Hey, this character you like is in Death Battle," it's like, "Oh, let me see that episode. I'm curious."
Yeah, it was like because Death Battle. I mean, those guys have done like crazy amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Is it cool to work on a project like that as well? That maybe isn't like the
well, especially because it's Rooster Teeth. So like Red versus Blue is something that I came up on.
Yeah,
like I used to watch that religiously.
So good,
it was so good.
So
and I got to be in the finale.
Yeah,
so it was a full circle moment of my whole VO career because I started VO wanting to be in Red versus Blue. And then 10 years later, they were like, "Hey, you're gonna get to be a reporter in this like background scene of Red versus Blue." I'm like, "I don't care. That's amazing." In bet, yes.
Yeah, and done. I don't care. Just done. Yeah, they're so good. I think it's like when you, like at this point now that you've been like you said, ramping up kind of like the amount of roles you're doing and the projects you're going like you were just I know you had some voices in like Lego Fortnite, which I saw, which is pretty interesting. Which is a whole thing that they did. I was amazed they did that to begin with, but. Are you kind of like looking for certain like animes now, or are you kind of like, I'll take anything, or are you trying to?
I wish it was that easy. Normally, we don't get to pick what we work on. Right. So even if I see a show that comes down the pipeline where it's like, I would really like to be in that, it's not up to me at all. Yeah. So when people were like, what made you choose that role? It's like, I didn't pick it. I read for 7 or 8, and that was the one that they thought I did good on.
Right, yeah. Is there like animes out that you wish you could sneak in on?
DBZ would be fun because it's a classic and it'll run forever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other animes that I could potentially... If they ever did another season of Baccano, I would love to be in that because I think that is a very underrated anime. It's incredible. But yeah, there's always shows that I would really enjoy being in.
Right, yeah. I know, like, obviously, like, you have quite a few things you're going to be doing today and stuff like that, but, like, how has the kind of return trip to KitsuneKon been for you so far?
I think way more people know who I am, which is weird because because of Has Been coming out and because I'm now in Hell of a Boss's Striker, which I don't remember if that was even out the last time I was here. I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
So both of those things on top of each other, Alistair being more mainstream and then the Striker thing, you put those two on top of each other, like, oh, cool. And then since then, like, Pokemon, the new season of Pokemon, I'm Charizard in that.
Oh, okay.
So lending my voice to Charizard was incredible, but everybody knows who that is.
Right, yeah.
So I think I have a couple more things on my resume that are a little bit more recognizable. Yeah. So when people are coming through and they're looking at everything during the autographs, I'm like, oh, you did what?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Right. So it's like you kind of see that progression of like, I'm doing all these really cool stuff and like, I mean, new season of Pokemon too. I mean, that's kind of crazy considering it's the first time without Ash.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of like entering that unknown territory.
I really like it because it's also a little bit edgier and darker than like the traditional Pokemon stuff.
Right.
Because Ash was always very kid friendly. This, not to say that this isn't for kids, but it's got a little bit more to it.
Right.
And I really like the story that they're telling.
Yeah.
So without spoiling too much, I would recommend that you check it out if you're even remotely a Pokemon fan.
Which so many people are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're watching this, at some point you've liked Pokemon or something.
They're almost 3 decades into it now.
Oh, yeah. I guess I was glad that they kind of switched it up because, like you said, it's new story, new developments, and then hey, getting to be Charizard. I mean, like, have people brought you cards yet?
Yeah,
oh,
all the time. And it's so cool because Charizard was already one of my favorites growing up.
Right. Yeah.
And so the fact that now, again, much like Red versus Blue, it's come full circle, and I get an opportunity to portray the character. It's just like, what? What is this like?
Right.
I'm very fortunate. Like it's insane.
No, it's awesome to see. And like I said, we like interviewing you 2 years ago, and then interviewing you now. It's really cool just to see like the list of like stuff that you've done just like massively grow.
And I'm grateful for it. Like even like if you're doing small stuff on like Lego Fortnite or whatever it might be, it's a lot of fun.
Right. And I mean, like, even you said, like, small part, but Fortnite is obviously...
There's no real
like,
small part.
Right,
I'm just happy to be a part of the franchise and contribute,
Yeah. And I know we'll get ready to wrap up, but, like, for people that are obviously coming to you at, like, for panels or, like, things like that are, like, if people, like, wrestling D&D, like, what other things should people be coming to panels and asking you about? What are the things that you like talking about?
I love talking about Halo, the story of Halo, the universe, just in general. I've become even more of a fan doing the lasso runs because I'm re-exploring all the games.
Right.
And every little minutia that frustrates me is now coming out. Especially because we're on Halo 5 right now, and I have so many thoughts on Halo 5.
Yeah. Favorite story? Favorite Halo story? Favorite of the games?
So my favorite Halo is Halo ODST. Because the only complaint that I have about ODST is it's too short. And when it came out, it was a full-price game that was basically an expansion length. Because it's like 9-10 hours of gameplay where I need a little bit more for my Halo. If we're talking about base Halo games, I'm always going to go probably towards Reach or Halo 3.
Okay.
The end of the Halo trilogy in 3 or Halo Reach because it's such a good story.
The story of Reach is... The book, too. The book for Reach is... unbelievably good. And
all the books that talk about Noble Six, because he survives Reach.
Yes, yeah. It is...
but they do him dirty in the books.
A
little bit. The way that everything concludes, they do him a little dirty, but I won't spoil that.
No. But the books are fantastic. If you like Halo, the books are actually like...
Where's my graphic novel? Do they have one?
I think there's some for Halo, but I don't think it's like a main kind of like stream graphic novel.
Also, apparently the Halo TV series got canceled.
Really?
I was reading about that today, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean...
I have thoughts on that one, too.
Yeah,
but what I mean is you can come talk to me about this stuff.
And then any, like, final message you'd want to pass along to, like, KitsuneKon, people that are obviously going to see you at the convention, obviously, like, returning down the road or seeing you at future conventions, like, any kind of, like, final message you'd want to...
Just that I would love to come back. KitsuneKon was the first out-of-state con that I ever got invited to back in 2022, so this is always going to hold a very special place in my heart, so I love coming back. I will come back anytime that they will have me, and I appreciate everybody that takes time out of their day to either come see me, watch what I do, whatever the case may be. If you dedicate any amount of time to my career and what I'm doing, I am eternally grateful because that's the best thing you can give somebody is your time because that's the most valuable commodity that we have because we never get it back.
Yeah, exactly. And then just to spark as much heat as we can, favorite wrestler?
Favorite wrestler of all time?
Of all time and then current.
Bret the Hitman Hart is probably my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Currently, I'm biased, but it's CM Punk.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, Chicago. So.
Yeah.
I
was a fan of his before he was controversial.
Right. Yeah. It's fair. But no, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And if you're at KitsuneKon, in the future, make sure you always look out for this man's name at KitsuneKon or other conventions.
Also, check out our D&D game, twitch.tv/The Unexpectables, every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. PST. We are almost 100 episodes into our second campaign.
Dang.
All of it's available for free on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'd appreciate the support.
Yeah, of course. We'll make sure we put the links in the video for you. So awesome. But we'll see you soon.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.